So for everybody watching, this is Aimee Dixon, or now, are you taking your new name?
Yeah, Aimee Dixon Minnis.
Aimee Dixon Minnis. Well, everybody, I'd like you to meet Aimee. She's one of our Vonk digital clients that I asked, and she so gracefully agreed to join me today. And really what we're trying to do, like we're doing with this whole video series, is just highlight and showcase originators from around the country that are actually putting in the work and getting creative and doing things to build their business and build their brand. But before we get into that, Aimee, if you don't mind, can you just give yourself a little intro, tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Anthony. Again, my name's Aimee Dixon Minnis. Just got married. I go by the Mortgage Girl Boss on Instagram, and I also have pages called Aim for Homeownership, which is how I'm branding myself in the industry right now. I really pride myself in connecting with first-time homebuyers, especially millennials, because that's what I am. I entered this industry very, very young, and I needed a way to connect with people because, you know, as a young person, it's hard to get people to just trust you. So when I purchased my home at 25, I wanted to show the world, like, hey, millennials, you can purchase homes too. So that's what I love to educate people on. And I love also helping single women purchase homes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had a similar experience getting into the business very early and then starting a company early. The kind of getting the being treated as an adult was a hurdle in the beginning.
It really is.
So you kind of touched on it a little bit. So and I always ask people like what their niche is, not in the sense that it should be something that defines you, but the people that I've observed, and correct me if you're wrong, or I don't know what your take is on this, but the people that have a niche, it isn't necessarily pushing them away from other business. I know there's a lot of concern, like, well, if I focus on millennials, if I focus on first-time homebuyers, nobody else is going to do loans with me. But I don't believe that's the case. What do you think about that? I mean, do you worry about?
I believe that my niche is the people that are attracted to me, that come to me, that want to work with me, and that's who I want to expound upon. So what I've noticed in my business is that single women, they gravitate to me. They want to know how I purchased my home so young and what are the steps that they need to take. And same thing with millennials. They see a young person preaching about home ownership. They want to be able to work with that person and also my presence on social media. So that's how I think of my niche. It's not really narrowing down the clientele that I'm going to work with, but it's the people that are attracted to me. And those are the people that you want to work with as a loan officer, because you can continue to find more and more people like that, like those that are attracted to you.
Yep. I preach a lot about differentiating yourself, and really all differentiating yourself is showing who you really are, because we're all different, right? I think on your website, with the content that you've created, with the video, the fact that you can see yourself, like there's a lot of stuff there. Like somebody can't really scroll just even down the homepage and not get an understanding of who you are. And I just think that's so important to put yourself out there, to your point, to attract people that want to work with you. Can you, and again, so what we're trying to do here is just not necessarily say, hey, do what Aimee is doing, but we're trying to how would I say this? We're trying to get people to think a little bit outside the box on how can they promote themselves, specifically by differentiating. And, I'm a big proponent of education. You have your Aim for Home Ownership Facebook group. Can you kind of explain what that is? Again, just to help people get their creative juices going.
So when I first got into the industry, I was getting a lot of people that could not qualify. They were just far, far, far away from being able to purchase a home. And I didn't want to just throw those people out. But as a loan officer, you're only making money off of the deals that are closing. So there's a fine line between trying to balance and juggle that. So what I decided to do is I wanted to create a group where people could go that weren't ready for homeownership yet, but hey, we're going to aim for homeownership together. So I invite people that maybe don't have the best credit scores, they need to work on their debt to income ratio, or maybe they need to find a new job, I invite those people to join AIM for homeownership so I can incubate them there. So I make sure that between me and my virtual assistant, we're posting in that group on a daily basis just to keep people inspired and keep people aiming towards their goals. And it doesn't just have to be about homeownership, it can be about other things as well. So the main point of the group is just to keep people inspired.
Yeah, it sounds like even if they don't end up with a home, they're gonna potentially get their financial house in order and just be better set up in general too. That's cool.
And it's a good way to just stay in touch with those clients, because usually you tell them that they don't qualify and then you never talk to them again. But we're keeping these people engaged in homeownership.
I think it's awesome. So in the next, the industry's changing. The technology is becoming a huge part of it, but people really haven't lost the desire or need for the expert advice and the advisement. In the next let's call it 5 years, what are you doing and where do you see the industry going? What are you doing to prep for that? Do you think about that at all?
Of course, yeah. And that's why I think it's so important to create a digital presence now. And as a loan officer, you need to realize that you're the personality and people are going to gravitate to you and want to work with you. It's not about your company. So I think that more so in the future, in 5 years, there's going to be mortgage influencers. And it's going to be all about your presence on social media and your Instagram followers and what videos you have on YouTube and what your website looks like and how many reviews you have, because that's how millennials and future homeowners are going to be searching for their loan officer based off of those things. So if you can start working and tweaking like what you want to say to those people and your presence on those websites and those channels, I think that's going to help you grow your business as a loan officer. I think it's going to be harder to get away with doing things the old school way. You have to kind of become a hybrid of doing old school plus new school.
Yeah, and as you go over time, like, every little video or piece of content you put out on its own may seem, insignificant, but you're really building a library of assets and goodwill that people can search. Because you're right. I mean, people, they're gonna the way I've been putting it, people are pre-approving you as an originator now, because they're used to getting their information first before they decide to, proverbially raise their hand, like, hey, Aimee, I'd like to learn more. Like, traditionally it was, I know nothing about you, I'm gonna reach out and decide if I want to work with you, right? Now it's that step has moved back. Like, it's like, whoa, we're not even gonna talk until I've made the decision that I think you may be a good fit. So I think you're on.
Research who they're working with. I said clients are definitely going to research who they're working with and whether or not they want to work with that person.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on. I think, again, it's just like, it's going to be a compound effect. All those pieces of content become this giant asset base across the whole web that, and again, if people are going to look for somebody, they're going to go with somebody that they can see their reviews, they can get to know you up front because they can see your videos, they see your content. I think you're right on. So again, I asked you here because I really do believe the things you're doing, especially leading with education and putting yourself out there, are going to you're going to be a successful player in this business for a long time, if you choose to be, so it's nice to see that. It's nice to see people out there, putting in the work. So congratulations. And again, thank you for the time today. This was great.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for creating an awesome website for me. I couldn't have dreamed of having a better website. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. But yeah, I think hopefully we can, again, inspire some people to take whatever, maybe they've been willing or wishing that they were doing to help themselves in their business, and say, okay, oh, well, look, Aimee's doing it. Why don't I get out there and do it too? So thank you. And we'll talk to you soon, Aimee. If you need anything, obviously we're here for you.
Thanks, Anthony.